Hey guys, in this lesson we would understand how to find the x-intercepts, vertex, axis of symmetry, and even how to draw graphs from standard quadratic equation without using table of values. Let's say we're given a question y is equal to 3x squared plus 18x minus 17, and we're asked to find the x-intercepts, vertex, axis of symmetry, max or min point, as well as draw a graph of the given equation without using table of values. Now we know in order to find out the x-intercepts, we have to turn this equation to factored form. In order to find out the vertex, axis of symmetry, maxima or minima, point, and to draw a graph, we have to turn it to vertex form. However, we need not do so many things on the given equation. All we have to do is just understand a basic concept and apply only one formula that can help us find all of these things. What we have to do is, first, we would go with solving for x-intercepts or finding x-intercepts. We know the meaning of x-intercept means the value of x when y is 0. Therefore, we would substitute y as 0 in order to proceed for finding the x-intercepts. As the equation we have is y equal to 3x squared plus 18x minus 17. We would put 0 equal to 3x squared plus 18x minus 17. Now, value of x means we are solving for x. And we know whenever we have to solve the standard quadratic equation for x, we have to turn it to factored form. And turning it to factored form would require us to either factorize it or use quadratic formula. Since we're not asked to use any specific thing, the best thing to use is always the quadratic formula, because quadratic formula is applicable to any equation, even if the factoring works or it does not work. So we would apply quadratic formula to this equation in order to solve for x. We know quadratic formula is negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. We also know a value is equal to 3, b value is plus 18, c is negative 17. Now we would use all of these three ABC values respectively and sub into the quadratic formula to solve for x. So the x values that we would get is, put in b as negative 18 because this is negative b, plus minus square root of 18 square minus 4a is 3, c is negative 17 divided by 2 times a is 3. This would give us 18 square is 324, minus and minus gives us a plus. 4 times 3 times 17 is, we get 204. This gives us a square root of 528 when we add 324 and 204. Plus minus means we have to separate it into plus and the minus operation. So we have negative 18 plus square root of 528 divided by 6, and negative 18 minus 528 divided by 6 as well. This gives us 0.83 and this gives us minus 6.83. So the two x values that we've got is 0.83 and minus 6.83. And these two x values are called the x-intercepts of this equation. Now we've got the x-intercepts. We need to find out the vertex. We know x-intercepts are also represented by R and S. So R is 0.83, S is negative 6.83, and vertex is HK. So this is what we are looking for now. We know H is the average or the median of R and S that we have learned in one of the previous lessons. So we get 0.83 plus minus 6.83 divided by 2, and that would give us a minus 3 value. Now this H is nothing but axis of symmetry. As we know, axis of symmetry equation is x equal to h value. So we have got by finding h the axis of symmetry, which we can write down as x equal to negative 3. So we've got the x-intercepts, we've got the axis of symmetry. In order to get the vertex, we need h and k value. H we've got is negative 3, but we still need the k value. And k is nothing but the y value that we get from the equation when x is substituted as negative 3 into the equation. The original equation that we had was y equal to 3x squared plus 18x minus 17. Now k is just the y value when x is negative 3. So we would sub in x as negative 3 in order to solve for y. And the y value that we get from here is negative 44. So this y value is nothing but the k value as we substituted x as -3, which is our h value. So here we can put this y as -44, and this would give us the vertex of this equation. Now we've got the x-intercepts, vertex, axis of symmetry. In order to find out what is the max or the min point, always remember max and min points are represented with k value. That is what we have got here. But how do we know if this is a max or the min point? We check the a value of the original equation. The original equation a value is positive. That means the graph opens upwards. So we would see a min point. If a is negative, then the graph opens downwards. So we would see in that case a max point. As in this particular example, a is positive. Therefore, k is equal to -4 is going to represent a min point. And we've got the max or min point as -44. So this is our max and min point. Now we have worked for all of these properties of the quadratic equation. All we have to do is just draw a graph. As we know, graphing is possible with 3 points, and the 3 points that we need for graphing is R, S, these are the two x-intercepts, and the vertex, that is HK. So we know R is 0.83. Let's say that's here, and S is -6.83, and the vertex that we have is -3, -44. So let's say -3 is somewhat here, and -44 is here. So this is our 1 point, that is the vertex point. These two are our x-intercepts. All we have to do is just connect these points and we would get the graph of the parabola. And this is how we solve a standard form of quadratic equation when we are asked to find out x-intercepts, vertex, axis of symmetry, maximum point, and also when we are asked to draw the graph. All we have to do is just consider y as 0. The reason we are considering y as 0 is whenever we make a parabola, x-intercepts occur when y value is 0. So that's why we start by substituting y as 0 so that we can use the quadratic formula in order to get the x-intercepts. And everything else can be solved using the x-intercepts. As we did in this example, once we get the two x-intercepts, we can add the two x-intercepts and divide it by 2 to get the axis of symmetry. This axis of symmetry is h of the vertex. Once we get the h of the vertex, then we would use the equation to substitute the h value as x in the equation, and we solve for y. This y value is going to give us the k value. So once we get k and h, our whole vertex gets completed. To get max or min point, we just have to remember this. If a is positive, graph opens upwards, we would see a min. If a is negative, graph opens downwards, we would see a max. In this particular question, we were given a positive, so we would see a min point at the k value, and the k value we got was -44. In order to graph the given parabola or the given equation, we need not use any table of values. All we have to use is just R, S, and HK. HK is the vertex and RS are the x-intercepts or the zeros. So just by using these 3 points, we are able to sketch the parabola. And this is how we solve the standard form of quadratic equation in order to find out the properties of the quadratic equation as well as to graph the quadratic equation.